As usual from the Geo-Negative axis, I'm coming to you live. Well, not live. Anyway, basically I wrote this book. I really wanted you guys to have this. It's an authentic, nice piece. It is called Codes of Earth's Creational System, the Geo-Negative Axis. Unlock New Potential. And as you see, it says Geo-Negative Axis. Unlock New Potential, Codes of Earth's Creational System. Basically, why I say unlock potential is because you can, by the resilience of this book, take what's really looming, let's say, figure out what's what, because this world we can't really figure things out. So with this now we can figure things out more scrutinizingly. That's what counts. That's what we need. So I'm gonna just read a little bit to you. So basically, in the geonegative axis, it applies to every aspect of life besides GNA, and GNA is of itself and for itself. It doesn't need relativity to exist as representative as air in the spectrum of GNA, but rather it needs light to be perceived, and it's from light, so it is of itself, therefore overall principle as well. Let's go over that line one more time. Also, I wanted to mention that in the book, I contradict myself. Why? Because geonegative axis contradicts itself. That's why it's negative. If something is not full and absolute, then it's a negative. You understand? That's that's another negative, another type of negative. There's different types of negativities, and that's why I'm trying to basically be able to identify those. That's why this book is very useful. To identify what's actual energy around you, how to use the energy around you. So many people giving you pipe dreams, and if you're not part of some kind of investing portfolio group or something, you may not be along those pipe dreams, or you might be getting a bunch of easy cash these days. Hey, whatever it is. But nonetheless, you could have now, from your standpoint, some people don't have access to that. This book helps you unlock new potential. It gives you the deals, understand the know-how, to look at things critically and identify things, and that's why it's most useful. So, how does it contradict itself? That's the big question. Because life contradicts itself. How does life contradict itself? That's a good question. Basically, the geonegative axis is for itself and it's by itself. Now, that kind of doesn't always seem, because also for itself also includes others. So that's one way it does. But I'll get back to that. And basically, so let's see now how it applies to every aspect of life besides GNA. And GNA is of itself and for itself. It doesn't need relativity to exist, as it is represented as air in the spectrum of GNA, but rather it needs light to be perceived, and it's from light. So it is of itself, therefore the overall principle as well. So because it needs light to exist, and therefore also it needs light to be experienced, the overall principle of air is light. We have to understand that. That's where it all comes from. So GNA explains this, and explains how we're connected to light. So basically it also says here, a good line, as we move faster than our thought in a given chance to rescue something, or answer a question without any premeditation of defending ourselves in a split second of thought and dispensation, so it is likely we can unravel consciousness from matter eventually. What does that mean? That means that actually, because within matter alarms us. We don't perceive it, because within action there's always two, as I was explaining. That's how everything contradicts itself. There's always two. So in a sense, if something hits something, right? If somebody hit, like I was in a car accident. Actually, maybe this is why I figured it out. They say sometimes when you get hit, you can become a genius or something like that. Maybe this is what it was. When I got hit by a car, I was able to understand the perception of things, of how things work, because it perplexed me. I was in college, it was like, it was in concussion state. So when two things hit, basically the energy is stopped, but still energy is continuing. We call this a ripple. That continuation of the energy that goes through space or ether or whatever space you want to call it is the GNA. So that is That's how things are processing now. I wish I was working on it. I know people are taking my idea right now and using it, and they're just making a mockery, and they're just building these giant stations and using all this metal and weird technology, and they're probably doing some cool shit, but anyway. So, yeah, no, I mean, because, I understand this language. If you understand a language or something, you can figure things out. Yeah, so that was that we also argue something must have a base in order to be relative. The relative has to be a perception in order to function or exist, even if it's finite, even if it's in a finite disposition, right? Relativity is part of what stems from the geonegative axis function. It is the defining assistant of life as to underlie every principle and aspect, as in GNA occurred and relatively manifested with GNA contexts. Relativity is like the hand that's snapped into a posture. GNA is a shoulder by where its motion and function came from. So you got that one? So like if you do a motion and you grabbed that thing, that was the action looks like the hand got something. But really we know the shoulder, the body, everything went and grabbed something. So GNA is like the shoulder. We don't see that we see the hand. Always hand grab it. Get your hand off of me. No one says, hey, get your shoulder off of me. But really it's actually your shoulder. Get your shoulder off of me. So, because their shoulders on you. So we don't see that. Like we leave that out. There's always two things going on at once. That's the conundrum, the anomaly of this thing. So we see the energy of the hand grabbing something, but the shoulder is what actually grabbed the hand. So like GNA. GNA is that, and that's why we don't get. That's why relativity falls short, because relativity just deals with the hand. The hand was able to grab something because the hand had a thumb, or the hand was able to grab something because the hand was big enough or it was strong enough. That's what relativity defines. Through time and space, it was able to pick up something that it was in its realm, it was in its relativity. So, but that doesn't explain what everything is and what it's based on, and that's how GNA comes in as a shoulder. Okay, so I hope that was beneficial, and I wish you guys luck, because this world's hard and we have to try to rise to this occasion of GNA, because it's good for everybody on every level. If you have truth, nobody can take it away from you. Even listen, these guys have billions of dollars, hundreds of billions. Even if they gave me $1 billion for this, right? That wouldn't mean anything to the world. I couldn't change anything with that. Impossible. So it doesn't matter to anybody. The best thing to do is you give away the credit where it came, and everybody moves along with it in their own ways. You want to do GNA dancing? Great. Study how people move. Now you can with GNA. Now if you know the truth of how people are really moving, just like I explained to you, now you can find everything. And you can put it all together. You could even find out how to make which muscles better using GNA technology, what I just told you. Now I just gave information to acrobatics and everything. I'm not even getting credits for this. They don't even, the people that I put on their websites, they don't even, So now I'm giving them information. Now they know, okay, if I want to, get my foot to work better, I need to work out my knee. Right away you can unlock the potential. That's just one example. So I would get this book. It's Geo-Negativeaxis at Gmail. You can also call me, whatever you like, and order many books. All right, you take care, guys. Bye bye.